To address the millinery buckram shortage, I'm thinking outside the box to experiment with materials not designed for hat-making applications, such as firm lino mesh, a nylon camping gear fabric. In this video, I'll explain what this material is and how I've repurposed it for a millinery application as an alternative to buckram. I'm Rachel, and here on my channel, La Bricoleuse, I cover important topics for professional costume making.
Wired foundation millinery techniques can be used with a range of materials other than buckram.
Here's a quick explainer on why buckram substitutes are necessary. My preferred qualities for buckram substitutes: a stiff hand, an open weave structure, and available from a vendor in the US for around $20 a yard.
Ethically, I'd love to find something made from natural, biodegradable materials, produced sustainably, ecologically, and mindfully.
But I recognize that the ecological impact of the global textile industry is complex, and that natural fibers often involve ethically harmful elements of production too. Many of the digital platforms for theatrical costumers have been brainstorming on the buckram crisis for months. Scott Gray, a colleague who worked as a stage milliner in Seattle, Washington,
reported good experiences working with a material he'd bought at Seattle Fabrics called firm lino mesh. Lino is a type of weave, as illustrated in this diagram. Many antique millinery books mention lino as a starched cotton foundation material, so the stiff nylon lino recommended by Scott seemed like a good candidate to investigate. I ordered a half yard to experiment with and made a simple pillbox hat shape.
The material seemed promising, but sadly, by the time I decided I wanted to buy a larger quantity,
Seattle Fabrics had replaced it with an unsized version called soft lino mesh. It was not nearly as likely a buckram substitute as the stiffer variety.
The only source I found selling the stiff nylon lino was a vendor called
The Rain Shed, a supplier of outdoor fabrics for adventure gear and patio furniture upholstery and such. This business appears to be a reliable supplier, offering swatch sets of their various specialty fabrics.
So I decided to buy a few yards of their stiff lino mesh and continue my research into its viability as a millinery foundation.
How does it measure up to buckram? For my purposes as a theatrical milliner, I am particularly drawn to its ease of sewing by both hand and machine, its ability to withstand humidity, and its affordable price. I discovered in my FORTHCOMING research that material is thermoformable over a hat block. The nylon lino mesh quickly melted.
Although I wonder whether the unstiffened variety could be pulled and shaped over a block and stiffened.
Once again, I remade the shako bonnet style originally created with a buckram foundation for the character of Lydia Bennet in a stage adaptation of Pride and Prejudice.
Learn more about that bonnet and remaking it in a material called FORTHCOMING in this video.
By making the same style in buckram substitute contenders, I can compare how they work up, how sturdy the hats are, and note other properties that might be unexpected advantages or drawbacks in a theatrical millinery application. For example, I reinforced the side band of the FORTHCOMING bonnet with a hoop of nylon boning to resist collapse, and I added a similar reinforcement to the lino mesh, this time as struts supporting the height of the crown. The tip of the lino mesh crown sagged, and in a future project, I might stabilize it with the nylon boning here as well. In the interest of completing the hat rather than starting from scratch, I used a high loft oval of quilt batting to mull the tip. I used an upholstery weight paisley brocade for this bonnet to see how this foundation material stands up to a heavier textile choice. The result was a lovely bonnet for a very different character than Lydia Bennet. Here's a fun surprise. This bonnet is squishable and easily restores to its original shape. As far as I can find, the stiff lino mesh only comes in black, which isn't necessarily a problem for a foundation material unless I'm working with light-colored fabrics.
On the flip side, I've used black buckram to make hats in dark colors before.
Especially for Halloween haunt hats that are worn in UV light.
Because the supply reliability of this material feels potentially unstable, it's probably not something I'll use regularly. I'll definitely keep it in my inventory though, in case a project comes up in which its resilience to crushing is desirable. This video is not meant to be a tutorial. It's a record of how I used this material to make a hat style using Buckram foundation methods. This video is part of the Buckram Alternatives Miniseries. I've spent most of this year conducting research on potential Buckram substitutes for my fall 2024 stage millinery class. I'm releasing videos about my results for each material tested, so you can see how it works in a millinery application, learn the pros and cons, and decide whether you want to explore using the material in your own hat making. This is the fourth of those videos, and you can view the other installments in the series on this playlist, as well as learn more about wired foundation hat making in general.